And welcome to another live with me, Jessica, from the Tunisian Crochet Graphghan Boutique. Hopefully everybody will get a second to pop on here. So we've had some questions about some things, and we're going to start the next section. So I'm assuming that you all have had your gauge swatch done. Most are getting about 3 stitches to an inch and 3 rows. Hopefully this is working because I don't see anybody here yet. Saying slow connection, of course, because I'm outside. Hey Marion. Hey Deborah. So we had some questions, and I'm going to go over everything. Biggest question. This is the download from the first part. This measurement is from your underarm seam to your underarm seam. Any of the designs that I sketch out that show like the dropped a U shape that goes, that the arrows do not stop at the edge, that will be around for the bust. This goes from seam to seam, like you were measuring your shirt. So this is only the bust. You want the widest part. So if your breasts are the widest part, that's what you want. If you have a section in your belly that's wider because you're pregnant or whatever, then you're going to want that as your widest part for this pattern. Or if you're just heavy like I am, and the belly is the widest area. This measurement from here to here is from underarm seam to underarm seam. So, let me see if I can make sure this. So hopefully that makes sense. Then we're going to talk about the first side. In my notebook. Yes, there's my notebook. Oh, good Lord. As you could tell, I was running late for this live. So the first section that we're going to do when you're done is going to look like this big old sloppy mess with 6 sides. And what you're going to do with your 6 sides is when you hold it up where you have started and finished, you're going to have a piece like this. You're going to take these 2 sections, put a stitch marker in them, and then fold from there. So this side here and this other side, you will fold them together and put a stitch marker there. And then turn it and you'll put a stitch marker there, and you will end up with a piece that looks like this. This will be your arms and the seam on the side. Now, there's 2 ways that you can do this. Since we're working in a square, this can be the underarm seam and then the top that you will seam shut. Or you can turn this if you do not want a seam under the arm, but you want a seam on the side because maybe you want to add a little bit. You want a adjustable stitching in there. Then you can turn this and make this your arm and have this closed seam that we have crocheted together. So then you only have to seam that, and you can seam this side piece closed with something adjustable. I have one member that is making one like this, and they are actually going to be putting shoelace material through here so that they can have the corset look. So I think that would be a good way to go as well. So once you have this side done, whatever side you want it to be, right, left, doesn't matter, you are going to make another one of these. Start over, follow the pattern again, you're going to make another one of these. Once you have the other one done, then you're going to have two panels that look like this, and then you are going to seam just down the back. So this too is where you have an opportunity to make this wider. So if you wanted to, you could make a panel down the back to give your back more width. If you feel like you don't have enough, you could use crochet squares, you could use fabric. You could go in and do a cute mosaic design up the center and work that, and then stitch that together, and then connect your other side and have a mosaic seam down the center of your back. There are so many options that are going to be available, and your imagination is the only limit to what you can achieve here. So that is what that is going to have. And let me see if I can do, nope, I still am not seeing comments this time. So I will go in and answer you guys when I'm done. But with that being said, you're going to go in, and we talked about where you work across. Now, you're going to start with a starting chain, and then you're going to work across, and it's going to have increases and decreases in areas. And this stitch where you're joining in the center, I used a magic ring, a double magic ring, because I like to use the double magic ring. It is a giant pain in the backside when doing this pattern because it keeps tightening. So you need your stitch marker, and you kind of have to pull it open. Now, when you do your final stitch and you do your yarn over and pull through two, you're going to have these holes from where you joined. It's going to be under the arm. You are going to have like 7 of these when you're done. 7 little lines. We got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So I know it's super hard to see because of the background and the lighting and all that happy stuff, but as you can see, I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So you're going to have 7 of those little lines, and then you're going to have the seam. So this is my magic circle where, so I'm going to, you know, even if I tighten that, you're still going to have these gaps. So for anybody that's saying they're getting gaps under the arm, when you join, that's normal. You're going to have these little gaps. It's not huge. I can barely fit my pointer finger all the way through. So I hope that addresses that. As far as the corner, well, before I get to the corner, we'll do this one first. Of course, I'm dropping my stuff all over the place. Hi! So I have my first side done, which I set over there. Now I am currently working on my second side. This is not even close to being anything yet because I only have the one part of the sleeve done. And then this part here will be my piece that comes down, and then this will be the piece that folds under. So as I said, I'm not even close to being done with this, and I know that seeing this color is hard, but for those of you that have a good imagination, this will, whoops, this will be side 1. Good Lord. Can't even follow my own advice for getting the corners together. There it is. Once you get this side done, then you'll do this side And like I said, this side is not even done yet, so the way that this is gonna kind of work is if I had to hold it up so you could kind of get a visual, then it's going to look like this. So once I have that and that will be the front of the sweater that will open up, and then I will connect the back, but I haven't got this side done yet. So I hope that makes sense to those that were asking questions about that. I'm assuming you have your gauge stitch done, gauge swatch done. So the next section that's going to go below is going to talk about, once you have your gauge swatch and your math, once you have your gauge swatch and your math in inches, you need to decide if you're going to do half the bust from here to here. Are you going to do the length? Do you want a wider bust? Do you want a shorter bust? Because you're going to add a back panel but still want the length. Do you want the arm length? And then this is going to be wider so that it opens up. You need to decide what math you want for that. For me, since I'm doing the square one, and I wanted it shorter for the crop top because it's going for a younger person, I'm only going to be adding length to the sleeves, and then I will be adding a little bit of length to the bottom for a cuff, and then I will be adding the neck piece. So I only added 1 inch of ease because of that. So this measurement from the bust is the measurement that I used, because that bust measurement will close and the arm and the crop top is going to be a little bit shorter. You can add to that. So that's the math that I'm using. For me, this was a 34-inch bust, which I divided in half, or 34-inch, it was 34 all the way around. So with a 34-inch bust all the way around, we only needed from underarm to underarm. So we took the 34-inch bust divided by 2, which gave us this measurement from underarm to underarm. And then I divided that in half, which is the math here. So for A, I took the math, figured out underarm, divided by 2, and then I added 1 inch. The 1 inch gives a little bit of ease so that you can actually move in it and it's not super tight. So for me, that was 8 inches, and the 1 inch added was 9 inches. So with 9 inches and getting 3 stitches to an inch, 3 times 9 was 27. So where the 27 is what you're going to need stitch wise. So you're going to do the chain 4, slip stitch to close the chain, and then you're going to mark that with a stitch marker. When you work into that hole, you're going to lose a stitch when we're talking about chaining out. So what we have is, try to get all my pieces out here. So for this original one, the math that I needed was 27 stitches. Working into the hole, I'm going to lose a stitch. So that is going to bring me down to 26. The loop on the hook is always counted. So you're going to bring that down a stitch. So we went from 27 to 25. So what I did was, when you have your ring done and you've slip stitched it closed and you put your stitch marker in here, you are going to chain, for me, my math was 25 because you lose those 2 stitches. So what you need to figure out is your gauge per inch, which mine is 3 inches, times however many inches you need. I need 9, which gave me 27 stitches. And then you subtract 2 for the loop on the hook and over here, and that is what you're going to chain. Then you're going to cast on in every back bump. Do not skip a back bump. I know lots of Tunisian patterns have where you work into the second chain from the hook. We're not doing that. You want every back bump. So when you have cast on everything, you'll have 26, and then for 27 you're going to go into your circle that you've created, yarn over, and pull up a loop. Then you are immediately going to work a cast off. That cast off is going to consist of a yarn over and pull through 2. We are going to pretty much be decreasing through this whole pattern. So the standard for this one is not going to be the STRP that I use, which is the standard Tunisian return pass. A standard Tunisian return pass is where you yarn over and pull through 1. We will not be doing that. We will be yarning over and pulling through 2. So you're going to yarn over and pull through 2. In turn, you are going to have 26 stitches when you have yarned over and pulled through all of them. Now, you are going to increase, you're going to be decreasing, excuse me. So you're going to work yourself across and you're going to pick up every TSS until you have 26 for my math. Whatever your math is, it's going to be 1 less than you started with. Then you're going to pick up, for me, the 26 stitches. You're going to yarn over, pull through 2. And when you do that, you're going to yarn over, pull through 2 25 times. Then you are going to pick up every stitch across except for the decrease stitch, so you're going to be losing a stitch. What your decrease stitch is going to look like. When you work your decrease, you will have a diagonal stitch and then a stitch that comes up. This diagonal stitch is what is your decrease. So you'll be working into all the TSS's and you'll be skipping the decreases. These diagonal bars are what we are going to be working in the next section to be picking up to make our square. So this is the first side that you're going to need to get done, and you're going to decrease all the way up till you have 2 stitches. When you have 2 stitches, we will be doing a corner. I have so much stuff here. This currently has work cast onto it, but I have when you're down to 2 loops on your hook for your pickup. So now I had 3 below, now I have 2. When you have 2 loops left on your hook, for corners, this will help you. Put a stitch marker in both the beginning stitch and the end stitch. Put 2 different colored markers in so you can keep track of this. The first corner, when you do this, is going to be the trickiest because you're trying to find your stitches. But you are going to yarn over and pull through both of those stitches, which would be a normal cast off. This creates the decrease on that side. That decrease is kind of what's going to create your corner. So, get my notebook back out here. At this point, this is your corner, so you're going to turn your work. So now your work has gone from being worked this way, now you're going to work this way. So you are going to work into that diagonal bar, which was the first stitch for cast off. So since we did 2 together, it's going to be the stitch that's facing up. You're going to work into that stitch. And I know it's hard seeing this because I'm not working over my shoulder, but you're going to work into that decrease. So you're going to go into that decrease stitch and you are going to yarn over and you are going to pull up 1 loop. And this is what creates your corner. So now again, you have 2 loops on your hook. Sorry, looking at my dog. They always got to be into something. What's going to create your corner now that we've got 2 loops back on our hook? We've worked in our decrease. We got 2 loops on our hook. We are going to yarn over and pull through 1. That is going to cause a vertical bar because we've got our work turned horizontal. It's going to start causing vertical bars. So then if you were changing color, you would yarn over and pull through 2 with this, and that's going to give you 2 stitches that are going to be going this way and 2 stitches that are going to be going this way. When you're working into that bar that we have decreased, it's going to be a little hard to see it, which is why I said if you put your stitch marker in it. So we're going to pretend like I did my color change. Now you are going to work into the horizontal bar that we just came out of. So you're going to yarn over and pull up a loop, and then we're going to start our increases again. In this corner, your increase, you'll see this row here has the 3 horizontal bars. So if I turn this, you can see I have 1, 2, and 3. For our increase rows, you will be picking up 1 extra loop. So because when we yarn over and pull through 2, you're going to be losing a stitch, but it's going to make your connection tighter. So you are going to yarn over and pick up a loop, which is going to be this horizontal bar. And I will have a video for this, but this horizontal bar, there are 2 loops. So you're going to want to pick up 2. When you turn your work, you're going to have to dig for the first one a little bit, that you're going to have to turn it and kind of look at the back to see that back loop because it's going to be a little bit tight, but you're going to yarn over and go through there, and that is going to give you 3 loops on your hook, which is what we need for this row. And then that decrease, which is the diagonal bar here, you're going to go into that one, and you want to pick up both bars of that one as well and yarn over and pull up a loop. So we have 4 loops on our hook. You're going to yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2. And when you do that, you're going to have 3 vertical bars, and your 4th one that you picked up is going to be lost because that's your decrease. And each row from there will grow. So I hope that makes sense. The questions we had were about the bust. We had a question about the corner and the stitch to connect being loose. I will be doing a video on the corner, but if you guys wanted to write it down, you are, when you work your final row, that you are decreased down to 2 stitches for your forward pass. You cast on 2, yarn over and pull through 2 in the same color. We're not changing color for the corner. Your corner will be worked in the same color. And I know it's hard to see the black here, but there's the black and then there's the purple. This purple has 3 stitches. This corner has 2 stitches. So I will be adding into this the written part of this as well, but you are going to cast on 2. So for me, I had changed color after I did the row with the 3. I did the yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2 with my new color. And to start my corner with the black, I did the cast on of 2, then you yarn over and pull through 2 with the same color. Then you have 1 loop on your hook. You're going to turn your work. You're going to pick up that 2nd loop, which was the diagonal connection from the decrease, and you're going to yarn over and you're going to pull through 1, and that creates your corner. You have 2 loops on your hook. Then you're going to yarn over and pull through the new color. So I hope that makes sense. Again, it's saying I have slow connection and I'm not seeing comments, and I don't know why that is, because ultimately if I do a live in the regular group, I can get my comments, but it seems like when I'm doing them in the event, I'm not getting them. So maybe I'll do the live if there's a lot of questions in the regular group next time. But I will go in and answer individually every question that you guys have answered. I hope that that answers everything. I will be including the written for the first part this afternoon. And the written is going to be based on your gauge, but it's going to give an idea of what we're doing. And I will be doing mine based on the math that I am using, but I will be explaining what you need to get your gauge. So I hope that helps. And I will answer every question that I see in the comments when I get out of this. So thank you guys for joining me, and I hope that this makes sense. And I will be giving the first written part, which is the first block. That's our first triangle that is going to be our decrease triangle. Thank you guys for joining me, and I will see you again here. I want to say Thursday because I have some things going on. By Thursday, you guys should be able to have your whole first side triangle done and be ready for the corner video. All right, see you guys later. Where is my, there